Hello to all you beautiful people out there. Today I'm going to show you how to price a listing, how to price a house using the most effective, the most simple way possible, and that's using the sales comparison approach. Listen, it's not that big of a deal. In fact, it's rather simple. In fact, it's probably the most popular way to list a property, to put a price on a property, particularly residential property, all right? I want to specifically discuss today residential property. I'll give you an example. You get a phone call. You get a phone call from somebody who wants to sell their property. They want to sell their home, man. And they call you. It's your lucky day. And I want you to be prepared, man. And they're going to say, can you please come over, look at my house, preview my property, and let me know what it's worth? Whoa, that's a big question. What is the property worth? You have to show up to that property prepared. Not just you. Not you just physically prepared, meaning your hair looks good, you smell good, you're looking, you're dressed appropriately. Nah, man, you got to have all your ducks in a row, meaning the house information. Now, what do I mean by the house information? Listen to this. I don't just want you to know the square footage, how many bedrooms, when it was built, what the loan amount is. I don't want you to know just their name of the homeowner. I want you to know, what is it worth? What are you going to recommend them listed at? What's going to be your recommendation? That's the million-dollar question. They're looking at you. All eyes are on you to price this property. And you got to tell them, I'm going to price it at this because. I'm going to price it at this amount, Mr. Seller, because. I recommend this amount, Mr. Seller, because. Because what? So what do? How do you price it? What's your validity when it comes to the price? Ready? Here it comes. Now, most real estate agents, what they do is this. Before showing up to the house, they have to do some research. And they have to do what's called run comparables, right? You've heard that a million times, run comparables. Get your comps. Get your comps for the property. What are the properties that are similar to this one in square footage and year built have sold in that area? You know the drill with comps, right? Apples to apples, similar square footage. My recommendation, keep it within 15%. Where the hell did I get that number from? I spoke to appraisers before, and that's the magic number they gave me. They said, Rico, if I were you, I'd keep it at 15%. Let me give you an example of that. If a house is 1,000 square feet, 1,000 square feet, what's 15%? 15% of 1,000 square feet is 150. So I want you to go 150 less than 1,000 square feet and 150 more than 1,000 square feet. That's our window. That means we want to compare our property that's 1,000 square feet to properties that are 850 square feet to properties that are 1,150 square feet. That's our window. So I have to, as an agent, go find comparables. Find comparables that fall in this window so that I can have apples to apples. Other properties that are similar to the one I'm about to list. Hopefully, if I show them the right data. You got it? That's simple. So where do I find these properties? That's the million-dollar question. Where do I find these properties? Well, most agents would go straight to the MLS. Straight to the MLS. Hey, why wouldn't you? It's a great tool. Use that resource of the MLS. You're a member, you pay your dues for the MLS. Why not utilize it? So you go to the MLS, right? And you plug in the area that you're planning on doing your research on. The property is located in this particular zip code, so go to that particular zip code. And you plug in, show me houses that have sold within the last 3 months. 4 months, 6 months. It all depends on the market, right? And you ask the MLS, go back a certain amount of time and give me houses that have sold within this window, within this square footage, within this year span. You just push enter and the MLS does all the work. All you did was plug in the data of what you wanted from this computer. Got it? Wow, how easy is that? So the computer says to you, the MLS says to you, hey, listen, the last 6 months, last 3 months, last 4 months, these properties have sold, and based on this data, you should price your home, you should price the subject property at $1 million. Done. So that's your data. And you think you're done. He goes, yeah, well, based on the MLS data and based on the houses that have sold, that are listed on the MLS, we should price it at $1 million. You see, because property number 1 sold 2 months ago for $1 million down the street. Property number 2 sold 1 month ago down this way for 1.1. Property 2 blocks over sold for 1.2 3 months ago, so on and so forth. But at the end of the day, the median price is $1 million. It is what it is. Black and white. Can't argue it. Or can you? I'm here to tell you there's a different way to do it, a different method, using the sales comparison approach. Now, mind you, keep on track. The sales comparison approach. Look at it. A $5 bill is a $5 bill, meaning it is what it is. The sales comparison approach means you're going to compare properties that have sold. Sales comparison. Comparing properties that have sold. That's what you're going to do. So we found that data on the MLS, but I want you to go into one other batch that a lot of realtors don't use. It's a great batch. And that's the batch that's given to you by the title company. Because the title company has access to all the county recorder closings, all the recordings of houses that have sold. All the houses that have sold and have been recorded are at the county recorder's office. Any property that's been transferred that has been sold are listed there, and the title company has access to all that. So hold on a minute, pump the brakes. You got your MLS batch of homes over here, the properties that have sold right here at the MLS. You did your proper research and it's right here and it says $1 million. But if you don't go to the batch that we find on the title company's site, because they've gathered a whole bunch of properties, particularly the ones at the county recorder's office, you might be missing something spectacular. Here we go. The MLS is used typically for advertising purposes. Hey, all you agents out there, I got a house for sale. Boom, here it is on the MLS. Hey, public, everybody out there in the public, I have a house for sale. Here it is listed. Boom, on the MLS. But how about those sellers who sell their properties without utilizing the MLS? They don't use a real estate agent, right? So they don't utilize the MLS. They sell it themselves, and that's called a FSBO, for sale by owner. Some sellers are for sale by owners. Their properties won't be found on the MLS. Think about that. Whoever sells their properties on their own without a real estate agent will not find their property listed on the MLS. So what does that mean? If the for sale by owner sold their house for a lot more than $1 million, you didn't find that comp. Why? Because you didn't utilize the title company's comps, which are found in the county recorder's office, right over here. So what's my recommendation to you? When it comes to the sales comparison approach, make sure you compare all the properties that have sold. Make sure you go back in time, whether it's 3 months, 4 months, 5 months, 6 months in a balanced market, and find all the proper data. Not just data from this batch of homes, but data from this batch of homes also. Probably the most crucial batch of homes. Now, why is this the most crucial batch of homes? I'll tell you why. Because every house that has sold and listed on the MLS will be found on the county recorder's office, on the title, on this batch of homes. But not all properties that are here in this batch of homes with the title company will be on the MLS. Makes sense. Makes complete sense. So when using the sales comparison approach, do yourself a favor. Do the proper research, right? We already know when it comes to your state exam, income approach, the income approach, when an appraiser uses the income approach, they're using the income approach because they're looking at revenue, investment property, apartments. But when it comes to residential property, what's typically used is the sales comparison approach. Quick tip, it's also known as the market data approach. So anytime you see the market data approach, it's also the sales comparison approach. Got it? Boom, done. So in a nutshell, when it comes to sales comparison approach, you're comparing properties that have sold in a certain area, which are very similar in size, similar in other amenities, bedrooms, bathrooms, year built, apples to apples. So you gotta gather all the proper data, not just from this bucket, but from the biggest bucket of all, which is the one provided to us by the title company. Don't lose sight of that. Do yourself a favor by doing your client a favor. The more information you have, the better. That way, when you show up to that appointment, when you show up with your seller and you say, boom, seller, here it is. This is what I utilize, Mr. Seller, Mrs. Seller. I didn't just utilize the MLS. I'm a thorough real estate agent. I wanted to make sure I didn't miss any single comparable that would benefit you. So I use this magical batch over here. Got it? Simple as that. Hope this helps you out, man. Listen, I got another great video here. Check it out. It's on appraisals. And how important appraisals are, check it out. You won't regret it. Those of you who are planning on taking the state exam, know the term sales comparison approach and link it to market data approach. You won't go wrong. Wishing you guys all the best.